Turn 1. In a GT car, you'll be charging down the main straight at about 170 miles per hour. Drop down the hill into the braking area for the first turn, which is a right-hander taken in second gear. You must get the braking into here spot on. Be very careful with the brake pressure as you turn in. The front wheel is severely unloaded on entry due to the sharp camber change, and you must hug the very inside of the corner, just touching the curbing to your right. The camber of this corner provides excellent grip for the spring along the short straight into turn 2. Turn 2 is an easy right-hand corner taken in third gear at about 90 miles per hour. Brake at the 50-meter board, balance the car on the throttle right the way through the apex, and then hard on the power on the short sprint up to turn 3. Turn 3 is a very difficult and tight second gear right-hand curve. You must keep as close to the curbing as possible, but be sure not to use any, otherwise it will unsettle the car and compromise your exit speed. Take turn 3 at about 50 miles per hour, and you must be patient as you pass through the apex. If you get on the power too early, you'll find yourself offline and potentially losing time as you dart towards the fast approaching turn 4. Turn 4 is a very tricky second gear left-hand corner that seems to go on forever. It punishes the driver who gets on the throttle too early by making it very easy to run wide on the exit. This is due to a lack of camber in the corner. Try to maintain a steady throttle state at around 55 miles per hour. When you can clearly see the exit, feed the power in very gently and try not to run out too wide. This will compromise your exit and your terminal speed on the fastest straight of the track. Whether you're in a GT car or an NGT car, you'll be taking turn 5 flat out in 6th gear. You should be approaching turn 6 at about 160 miles per hour in a GT car. Do not be tempted to brake too late for this long, uphill, flat, camberless entry left-hander. Brake down to second in plenty of time for the first part of the corner. Try to get the nose in, short shift into third and prepare yourself for the uphill climb through the exit, being careful to stay online and not drift too wide out onto the marbles. You should be in 4th gear on your approach to turn 7. This is a downhill right-hand bend taken in second gear, which is actually quite tricky. It's very easy to run wide here if you get on the gas too early. Take the apex at about 60 miles an hour, short shift to third on the exit, and try to reach about 110 miles per hour on the run up to turn 8. Turn 8 is an extremely important corner to get right. Hold third gear on entry. Balance the car on the throttle and try to stay as close to the racing line through the apex as possible. You need to have the car as straight as possible for the next braking zone. Keep the car to the right of the track, braking down into second gear ready for the left-right chicane which comes up on you almost immediately. Turn 9, the chicane. Try to straighten out the chicane a little by taking a small nibble of the left-hand curb on the entry. Do not use too much curb though, as you will unsettle the car and compromise the immediate looming uphill off-camber right-hand section. Keep low revs here and hold second gear, being extremely gentle with the throttle as you climb out of this section. Through the apex, you should take about 45 miles per hour. Be very precise with the throttle in this section as it is easy to spin off into the gravel. Depending on how well you've managed to negotiate the chicane, you'll be approaching turn 10, a right-hand corner, in third gear. Compromise your entry speed a little, balance the car on the throttle, and feed in the power gently on the apex. You should aim to take about 60 or 70 miles an hour through here. Turn 11. Only use a tiny amount of the left-hand curb here. Do not be tempted to use too much, otherwise you will unsettle the car. On the exit of the corner, try not to run too wide. Although it appears there is a lot of free tarmac there, it actually compromises the entry into the most important corner of the track. Take about 60 miles an hour through the apex. Turn 12 is probably the most important corner on the track. It is also probably the most difficult to get right. The corner itself is very long, quite flat, and compares with Parabolica at Monza. You're approaching the corner from the middle of the track on the exit of turn 11, going up through the gears smoothly on the throttle into third, and hold that gear around the first half of the corner, keeping tight into the curb as you build speed. When you see the green marshal's post on the right hand side of the Armco, get hard onto the gas for a smooth exit, being very careful not to run too wide and into the trap of marbles that builds up on the exit over the race weekend. You should practice this corner many times as it represents the best overtaking opportunity on the whole circuit.